What up guys, and welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. And today we're gonna go over 5 tips that you can use to improve your gold making in World of Warcraft. These are the same tips that I've used and still use, and so far in my period of playing WoW I've made over 20 million golds using these 5 methods or tips. So keep watching and hopefully you can learn something. But before we start, I just quickly wanted to say that this is by no means the fastest, or I'm not claiming it to be the fastest or the easiest way to make gold. I'm just simply gonna go over a lot of tips of how you can improve your gold making and what can make it faster and more efficient. And also, I'm just gonna talk about my personal experience of gold making and things that I've done to make my gold. So again, this is not the fastest, not the easiest. I'm not claiming that it is. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, tip number one. As for tip number one, you're obviously gonna get yourself a character because you gotta play on something to do these farms. Um, Depending on what you do, there's different classes that suits different farms better. But for what I do and for what I'm gonna go over in this video, we are gonna focusing on low level dungeons and transmog farming and a little bit of gathering and skinning. But majority of what I do is running low level dungeons hundreds upon hundreds of times, and yeah, get transmog. So for what I do, and also for most farms, I'm gonna go over it a little bit. But for most farms, and for what I do, the best class you can choose is the druid. As you can see here, I'm on my druid, and the reason why druids are the better choice, especially for what I do, is because you want to be as fast as possible. You want to be as efficient as possible, and the druid just allows you to do that very easily. Yeah, not only do you have the cat form and the feral affinity to just further your movement speed, but you also have a stampeding roar and you have a dash slash tiger dash, if you talent into it. But you also have Dreamwalk, and Dreamwalk is a very useful one if you doing dungeons, because once you finish your dungeon and you want to get out, you can simply just Dreamwalk out and then Dreamwalk back, and you'll be at the start of the entrance, ready to reset and then run in. And you can also mount in the Dreamwalk, so you can sell in between runs as well. Um, but not only if you're just doing dungeons, also if you're doing gathering or skinning, um, you have your travel form, you have your instant mount, so you don't have to like cast the mount up all the time. So that helps a lot as well. Um, but as I said, there's a lot of different farms you can do to make gold. You can do like five man farms, and you can do 2x4s, and you can do like current content raids, BOE farms, trash farms. The druids are good choices for all of them as well. I mean, you could argue that it doesn't really matter what class you are if you're doing trash farms in the new raids. But if you're doing 5-man farms, majority is using druid. If you're doing 2x4s, majority is using druids, specifically balanced druids in those ones. Um, you can obviously in 2x4s in current content, you're probably going to need a tank as well, like a monk or a healer, and that doesn't really matter what class that is. But majority of them are using druids, balanced druids, because their pull range is so powerful. You're just running around doing moonfire and pulling all the mobs together. So definitely make yourself a druid. It's by far the easiest and the most efficient you can get if you want to do gold farming, specifically if you want to do dungeons like I do. Tip number two. As for tip number two, uh, it's all about speed. It's all about getting as fast as possible, get as much movement speed as you can, because you want to aim to try and do all dungeons in 6 minutes per run. The reason why you want to do that is because there's a dungeon cap, there's a reset cap on dungeons, and that's you can do 10 an hour, and 10 an hour will be 6 minutes per run. So the longer dungeons and the bigger dungeons will take you longer than 6 minutes, but most dungeons you can finish within the hour, so 10 runs in an hour without any problems. But for the big ones, for the longer ones, you will have to get some speed sets, speed set, and some speed gear. Yeah, so you want to look at the auction house for items with speed on it. The easiest way to find these items with speed on is to use a website called the Undermined Journal. I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description. But basically, you want to get speed on all your pieces. You can see mine has 9 here, 12, 4, etc. And also, besides just getting speed on your gear, you can also get gems and enchants. I'm gonna leave it as the link to those as well. So all in all, just get speed on as much gear as you can. There's also, if you have the Heart of Azeroth, the necklace here for BFA content, you can also get the Azerite pieces with the trait Longstrider on them. As you can see, I have mine here. Increases your movement speed by 19% of your highest secondary rating up to 5%. So those give an extra 5% each to your movement speed. So all in all, with everything that I have currently on me, and with cat form and fail affinity and all that, I'm running at 201.1% speed, and that's without any buffs or anything. So I'm running the same as a ground mount, and that's really gonna help you in dungeons. For instance, if I didn't have anything, I would run at like 145. Now I'm running almost 60% faster because of all of my gear and all that. And if, of course, if you can see, if I use a speed buff, it increases. So get as much speed on your gear. Use the Undermine Journal to find them. Tip number 3. Well, tip number 3 is gonna be add-ons. There's a few add-ons that are gonna help you tremendously in your gold farming and your gold making. And what you should post and what you should not post, and what's worth posting and what's not worth posting. The first one, as you can see on my screen, is TSM, or Trade Skill Master. It's basically going to scan the auction house, and then going to show all the prices of the things that you might sell or might post. If I'm going to open up my bag, you can see it scans the auction house and shows the prices. This one is 773 gold on my auction house on my server. This one is 6.5k, etc. So it's basically just going to show, scan and then show all the prices. It's also going to show sell rate, like how fast it's selling. The lowest is 0.01, which most transmog pieces will have, but some of them will have higher, like 2.2, not 2.2, 0.02. So it's basically just going to show you guys what things are worth and how often they sell and how the market for it is. Besides showing you the prices, it's also gonna help you with actually posting it, because if you're doing transmog and you're doing a lot of runs, you're gonna get a lot of items and you're gonna post a lot of auctions. So this is the standard. Obviously I have add-ons so it looks different, but this would be the standard auction house. And you might have done this in the past, or you might do it still, but you might just drag it on and then create auction. This is gonna take forever if you have 100, 200, 300, 400 auctions of items that you want to post. So in TSM, in auctioning, there is one called a post scan. You can simply just press this and it's gonna scan the items in your bag, and it's gonna list for the price that they currently at, or the prices that you've set in your groups. There's a lot of guides on TSM. I'm not an expert in TSM, so you just look up a video on YouTube and get explained on how to set it up. It's gonna take a bit of time to set it up, but once you've got it running, it's gonna help you so much. There's also now that you can see it's finished scanning. Now that I need to post, I don't even need to press post. I have a keybind on my mouse, where I use the scroll on my mouse just to keep posting them, so it goes super fast. But there are, as I said, a lot of guides out there that's gonna help you set it up, import the groups, so that the prices is correct, and all that. So definitely go look at a video and set it up, because it's gonna help you tremendously. The second add-on that I would recommend you guys getting is kind of going hand in hand with not Looter Appraiser. That's what the add-on's called. It's going hand in hand with TSM, the Trade Skill Master. If you set your TSM up and you've done all the things you need to do on TSM, you can get yourself Looter Appraiser, and it's basically just gonna give you a warning. It's gonna pop up on your screen whenever you get something of value. You can put the settings as you want. I have my price source set to market value, but you can set notification to uncommon. If you're doing skinning, you can put it on common, and you can lower the gold alert threshold. So it's basically just gonna show you what the items you're looting are worth, and it's gonna pop up with a warning on your screen. So you get a notification on whenever you loot something. of interest. It also have other buttons, as you can see here. Mine is a little bit messed up. I don't know how to fix it really, but it's a bit messed up. But you can, like, if you have a lot of trash in your bags and you mid run, you can press delete trash, and it just remove all trash you have in your bags. New session is just gonna start a new loot appraiser, new timer. You can stop it, you can restart it, and then you can reset your dungeons here as well, so you don't have to go to your name, your image, and then reset all dungeons. You could simply just press this one. There's another few things you can do with it. These are the ones that I use because I don't really need the rest of them. And it also is gonna show all the items that you have, like in the order that you looted them in. So the latest loot is gonna show up here, and then it's gonna show the items that are notable as like worth anything. So that's really fun to have. It's great to have. It's just gonna make the runs more fun to do as well, because you can see whenever you get something good, it's gonna pop up with a 40k item after you kill them up or something. So yeah, definitely get loot appraisers as well. The third and the last add-on that I would recommend you guys getting is a tool that is gonna help you sort out your items of like whether you think you want to post it or not post it. Basically just helps you clean out your bags whenever you're doing runs, and like you done 2-3 runs and then your bag is completely filled. Like, how do you sort them out, and how do you sell quickly and stuff like that. So it's called scrap. Basically what scrap does is you're gonna mark all the worthless stuff. Let's say I didn't want this silk sand rope. I can simply just press on a key binding that you bind yourself, and it's gonna mark it with a little coin. So now what it does is when I mount up and I'm going to a vendor to sell, it's gonna sell automatically. It's just gonna sell, and I don't have to do anything. If you have a lot of things, it's not gonna sell all of it. Then you can press this this extra button that you got, this extra icon that you're gonna get on your vendors, and it's basically you can just press it multiple times, and it's just gonna keep selling whatever you've marked. So it's really good for when you want to decide what items you want to keep and what you don't want to keep. So yeah, it's basically just marking all the trash, and it's gonna sell everything that you don't want and everything you don't need. It's just simply just gonna make it easier when you're doing runs and you need to clean out your bags. It's an easy way to sort it out. So yeah, definitely get scrap as well. It's gonna save you a lot of time. Well, tip number four. Tip number four is consumables. It's basically just things that's gonna help you make it more efficient or get you extra loot. So there's a few ones that you can get, and that I would recommend you guys getting. The first one is it's gonna help you with movement speed. It's Bear Tatar, and it's whenever you kill a mob, you get a small movement speed increased. So it's just gonna add to the fact that you can run even faster. So definitely get that one. It's just simple. It doesn't cost anything on the auction house. You can see I bought for 305 for a total of 10,000. So they are not very expensive. So just go get them. They're just gonna help you. The second item that I want you guys to get, or recommend you guys to get at least, is gonna help you with chests that you're gonna encounter in your dungeon runs, because basically only rogues can lockpick chest in runs, but you can do it with professions, and there's actually two professions that you can use. One of them is inscription, as you can see here, called Tyrian inscription with the scroll of unlocking. You basically just need to learn Colterian inscription whenever you get there, and that's it. You don't need to level it up or anything, and you can just buy these on the auction house. They're not very expensive, so just buy them off the auction house. But it's basically just allowing you to lockpick chests when you're doing runs. As I said, like you can get it with blacksmithing as well, or you can do it with blacksmithing, but I don't recommend it. I just Colteria's like the inscription ones is a lot easier, and it's also cheaper, I think. But if you want to do it with blacksmithing, or if you have blacksmithing already, you can buy the skeleton keys, or you can craft them yourself if you want to. I do think they are more expensive than the scroll of unlocking here, but you also have to keep in mind that there are different variants. There's different levels of the keys, so you gotta make sure you have the right level to do the chest that you're gonna encounter. So that's just a little thing you have to keep in mind of if you're doing blacksmithing. But inscription is a lot easier. So just if you don't have anything, just get inscription. The next two consumables is not gonna help you in the dungeons runs, but it's gonna help you if you're doing like mining, skinning, or herbing, and also if you are doing like open world farms in cataclysm zones, you're gonna get a bit of extra loot. But first we got Darkmoon Firewater. Darkmoon Firewater is gonna help you with the gathering. It's just gonna cut your gathering timer down in half. So it's just gonna make you able to loot or mine or skin faster. So that's definitely a very useful item to use if you're doing gathering. And then there's the potion of treasure finding. And as I said, you have to be in cataclysm zones and like killing mobs there to get these tiny treasure chests where you can get some extra loot, some extra gold. You are able to get transmog pieces from it, but most of them are not really useful or not really worth anything. So it's just going to be some gold and some materials, some cataclysm materials. But yeah, if you're doing mobs in those zones anyways, you might as well use this because you're just going to get extra loot. Okay, the last tip number 5. You done all the things the above, you've done everything so far. You got your druid, you got your speed set, you got your add-on setup, and you got your consumables. So you're now ready to go farming. But where do you go? Where are you heading first? There's a few dungeons that I would recommend you guys doing first, and that's simply because those dungeons have a lot of different items, a lot of like good sets that sells pretty relatively fast, and like just a bunch of items that you can just use to fill up the auction house. Start getting 100, 200, and 300 items onto the auction house, because if you only have 10, 15 items, you're not gonna see sales. You need to do a lot of dungeons and get a lot of different items to actually see sales coming in. I think right now I only have about 500 or 600 items, and I see a bit of sales, but I'm aiming to go to at least 1,000 or 1,500 items to be able to see sales coming in like all the times. Yeah, the dungeons you want to do first are BFD, RFD, RFK, Wailing Caverns, and then you can do BRD or Lower Blackrock Spires. So because they all have like a bunch of good items that are gonna sell relatively fast. Some of them have like very high end items. For instance, these two with like the Skullframe Shield, which is about 400k I believe right now. But basically, they have a lot of good items that you can start posting and filling up your auction house with. So yeah, once you've done those 6-7 dungeons, you can basically just pick whenever, like whatever you want. Any of these dungeons are worth doing. The only one you should probably avoid is Scarlet Halls, because you're gonna like Scarlet Monastery is a better dungeon, and you're gonna get the same items. So Scarlet Halls is not really necessary. Just do Scarlet Monastery as well, like instead. But every single dungeon here is worth doing. Some of them, like Scarlet Monastery, Alderman, Shadowfang Keep. I think all of them actually Gnomegan has as well. They all have like specific pieces that you can only drop in those dungeons. So all of them are worth doing at some point if you really want to get into it. I'm gonna do all of them, and I'm gonna post videos about it as well, so you gonna can see what loot you can get from these dungeons. But yeah, just do those 6-7 at the beginning, and then go to the rest of them, and then just start grinding out the different pieces from the different dungeons, so that you can get more items on the auction house. So guys, there you have it, my top 5 tips of how you can get started into gold making. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave it a like. If there's anything you didn't really understand, anything that I need to explain better, leave a comment down below and I'll try my best. Also, I'm going to do all of my farms live on my Twitch. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. You can come follow me there, come ask me questions and I'll answer them. Also, keep an eye on the channel. There's going to be posting videos. I'm going to be posting videos about my farms and the loot that I've get. There's going to be coming some really soon. So if you're interested, subscribe to my channel so you can keep up on what I'm going to post. And yeah, till next time. Bye bye.